Welcome to The Explainer. Today we've got a fantastic story for you. It's about how a really frustrating problem, something a bunch of parents were dealing with, was completely solved with a custom AI app. And get this, it was built from scratch in just 15 minutes. It's just a perfect example of how the tools we have now are totally changing the game. So let's start with a feeling I think we can all relate to, right? That feeling of just hitting a wall when you're trying to find a simple answer to a really important question. That frustration is where this whole story kicks off, and you can just feel it in this parent's post. The scene is college drop-off day. You can just picture it. It's a total whirlwind of emotions, packing the car, saying these tough goodbyes. It's this crazy mix of being proud and super anxious all at once. So in the middle of all that chaos, parents are hopping into social media groups asking really basic questions, like, hey, what time do the dining halls open? But the answers? They were buried somewhere, deep inside the university's massive website, hidden behind all these weird links and different department pages. You could just feel the frustration building.
Okay, so watching all of this play out online was a software engineer. And seeing this really clear problem, this unmet need, they did what engineers do. They decided to build something to fix it.
The idea was just beautiful in its simplicity. Why not create an AI chat assistant? A conversational tool made just for these parents so they could get the info they needed without having to be a detective on a complicated website. A simple solution for a simple problem.
So for the first try, the developer used a really popular and powerful coding platform. It seemed like the obvious choice, right? Well, this is where our story takes a really complicated and honestly frustrating turn.
Yeah, this first approach, it just spiraled into a total nightmare of complexity. We're talking about hundreds of separate code files and hours spent not actually building the thing, but just debugging it, trying to get even the most basic stuff to work. And these weren't just little bugs. Oh no, these were maddening. The developer was literally spending hours trying to convince the tool not to hallucinate fake features, practically begging it to just show a response and wrestling with it to use the right AI prompt. It was a fight every step of the way.
So, a lot like those parents trying to find info, the developer was basically ready to throw their hands up. And it really makes you ask a critical question. In this day and age, with all this AI, does it really have to be this hard to build something simple?
This moment of frustration led to a pivot that changed literally everything. The developer ditched that complex, frustrating tool and tried again with a totally different platform called Launchpad. And this was the breakthrough. What had taken hours of pure failure was now a real working app in just 15 minutes. The difference is just staggering. So how is that even possible? Well, the app wasn't built with hundreds of files of code. It was built with just 5 simple, logical rules. This is all about building smarter, not harder.
The contrast here could not be more clear. On one side, you've got hours of debugging, hundreds of files, and just roadblock after roadblock. And on the other, 15 minutes to build, 5 simple rules, and a working AI assistant. It's like two completely different worlds.
So you're probably wondering, what does it actually look like to build an AI app with just 5 rules? Let's take a peek under the hood. It really comes down to just a few logical steps. It's really this straightforward. First, you tell the app where to look for information, like here are the websites. Second, you write a simple prompt that tells the AI how to look. Third, you set up a little automation to handle a user's question. And finally, you just pop in the chat window so people can actually use it. 4 logical steps, no deep coding needed. Now, the reason this is even possible is because of a really powerful idea called abstraction. Basically, the Launchpad platform is handling all the complex, messy stuff in the background. That frees up the developer to focus on the one thing that matters, solving the problem, instead of getting stuck wrestling with the technology.
And when you can build a solution this fast, that's usually not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. The possibilities for what you can do next just explode.
And what's even better is that this tool isn't just stuck on a single web page. Because it was built this way, you can instantly put it anywhere, as a widget on an existing website, as a native mobile app for your phone, or you could even use it as the starting point for a much bigger application. This really brings us to the core lesson of this whole story. Remember those parents? Their problem felt huge and complex, but the best solution wasn't. Real innovation is often about finding that simple, elegant answer. So look, this is more than just a cool story about an app. It's really about a new kind of possibility. Think about the frustrations you see around you, in your own world. With the kind of tools we have today, that gap between having an idea and having a working solution is shorter than it has ever been. So it leaves you with a question. What problem could you solve in 15 minutes?